Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about brows, and hopefully there is something in this video that gives you inspiration to do your brows, because it's possible that you were like me once upon a time where you just didn't know much about brows, so you kind of just left that alone. You did everything else on your face, did your lips, did your eyeshadow, did your foundation, but brows just didn't really matter. So in this video, it might give you an idea of why we like to have some time to practice creating the best brows possible and not to get stressed out about it, because it's supposed to be fun. Let's begin. As you know from the title of this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about brows and how important it is to actually fill in your brows before you go out anywhere. Now, for the longest time, I didn't do brows. In fact, what was important to me when I was wearing makeup, and this is what a lot of people say, they're like, what can you go without? Like, what products would you use if you had a choice of two or one? And so people might choose, oh, you know, my lips are important, so I'd wear a lipstick, or, you know, a gloss, a balm. My eyes are important, so I'd wear a mascara, eyeshadow. But brows were not really something that a lot of people had mentioned. And for the longest time, I didn't think brows were really that important. I would probably just go out like this and consider it to be fine. What I will say though, it really helps to brush your brows. So when you have a spoolie, any type of, you know, comb that is small enough to apply for your brows, it really helps the shape of your brows, because believe it or not, they do have a certain shape. Now, sometimes, and I had mentioned this in a previous video, I used to get my eyebrows waxed. I would go to someone professional, I wouldn't do it myself, and threading, because that would bring back the shape of your brow. And then with that in mind, either people would fill them out or they would just leave them as they were, because the shape was there. And by threading or waxing, you're getting rid of the hairs that kind of just grow all over the place around your brows. They're not actually you know, in the brow area. They're kind of too far below, or they're too far high up, or whatever way your brows grow. And every brow shape is different, okay? Some of us actually have a tip. Some people do. You can see them and they actually have what I call like an ending for their brow. I don't, so I actually draw mine on, and then some people go ahead and they get it tattooed. But I think if you're one of those people like me who likes to draw your brows on, then you're not going to get it tattooed, because there's no point. I was just finishing talking to my husband on FaceTime, because that's, you know, a great place for us to chat during his lunch break. Let me start again. So I just finished speaking to my husband as it was a little bit of his lunch break, and we chatted on FaceTime so that he could see myself and Celeste. And now I'm going to chat to you about the lipstick that I'm wearing. This is actually called Madness, and I have mentioned as well, maybe it's just a friendly reminder, I'm a Mellow Cosmetics ambassador as well. They reached out to me and I tried their products, and I love the feel of the lipstick. I also love their eyeshadow products. I mean, they're not glittery and sparkly like bold bright colors, but they're definitely lovely for some sort of classy type of look when you're out and about, somewhere very fancy. and I remember using some kind of rose gold pressed glitter, and it just looked fabulous. So if you want something that's more nude, neutral, soft on your face, then I would definitely check out the Mellow Cosmetics website. Remember, you can use my code MELLOW15 so that you can get a discount as well. Now, I know you're not here to hear all about the lips, but I just thought I'd let you know, because this is such a moisturizing product to wear on your lips. If you have dry lips, honestly, when you're having dry lips, not a lot of people like wearing lip products because they feel like anything is just going to make it worse. But I can honestly say that Mellow Cosmetics lipsticks have worked out really well for me. As you know, I also use Senegence Lip Sense colors, and I use the Senegence lip balm afterwards, which has been a massive game changer in keeping my lips moisturized during winter, summer, any type of season. And now, brows. Okay, so going back to brows, I had given you guys a little bit of an, informative explanation of why people do their brows. What I also want to mention is that today I'm going to be using two different brands of eyebrow product, one on each side being different. So one is going to be my BYS palette, because I use that a fair bit. So this is the BYS one. I'm going to be using this for this brow. And then on the other side, I'm going to be using Profusion Cosmetics. Okay, so this is the palette for Profusion Cosmetics. As you can see, their palettes are fairly different. However, before this one, basically I used up the eyebrow primer. There's a little bit left, but obviously it looks like it's kind of empty. Then it has 3 shades of brow colors. In here, there are 2 shades of brow colors. I'm going to call it like a highlight shade. So not anything shimmery, it's just like a matte highlight that you can use on the brow. Sorry, I take that back. Under the brow, like a light brow bone highlight, or you can just use it on the eyelid itself before you add eyeshadow, because it's transparent. Anyway, that's what I wanted to show you, because these two brands, I really love their brow products and they worked out really well for me. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Okay, so what I always start with is priming my eyebrow. It's so important to do that so that it gets your eyebrow almost like softer for you to draw on. Create like an arch shape if I can. And as you can see, I've got this spoolie. So basically looks like a mascara brush, but it is for the brows. And sometimes you can get the spoolie with the brow set, or you get it separately with like another brush set. That's how I've gotten my spoolies. Okay, because that's how the brush hairs are anyway. All right, and then it gives me an idea of, the shape of my brows. If I just filled them in and didn't brush them up, my eyebrow shape could be like really zigzaggy or uneven, and obviously I want it to be as even as possible. Okay, so in this case, as I said, I'm using my BYS Brow Definition Kit. It's called the No. 2 Pow Brows, and it tells you, use the wax to shape and prep the brows, which is what I call the eyebrow primer. Apply the powder to fill in sparse areas and lock brows in place, and then blend powders to create the perfect custom shape. Now, I don't blend the powders, I just use the one that I think is closest to my hair color. What's really great about eyebrow kits is that it has instructions on the back of the container to tell you how to actually apply your brows. So they have a wax, which is what I consider an eyebrow primer. So it, just like where you're priming your eyes, priming your face, you want the product to stay on longer. So it's going to help that latch onto your skin a lot better, as opposed to just applying the powder or filling in the brows with a pencil. What else do people use? Cream. But in this case, I'm just using powder for my brows. And then it does talk about, because I've got 3 shades here in the BYS kit, I can mix them up if I want to. I tend to like using brown shades, so not dark brown or black, but just brown, because I think that with my hair being, as you know, colored, and I'm going to be coloring it again soon anyway, if I use a black or dark brown, it just seems too dark, and I don't really want the emphasis to be on my brows as opposed to my eyeshadow. I want people to notice my eyeshadow more than my brows. I hope that makes sense. If your brows are darker, I feel that people are drawn to your brows naturally, but I feel like just a natural regular brown is not as bold, and then people will actually look more at my eyeshadow, but they'll see that my brows are done. Okay, so I tend to use an angle brush to fill in my brows. As you can see here, this brush actually has 2 sides. It has the spoolie on one side and it has the angled tip brush on the other. I have learnt in the past that using a thick angle brush makes the brows a lot thicker, and you can't really get that definition. So obviously you want a brow brush to be angled but thin, you know, you want it to not be as noticeable. When you turn it this way, you can see that it's more like a line. It's not that fat. I hope that makes sense. See, it's better when I actually show you. So the shade I'm going to use today is this brown here down the bottom. I don't want to have something dark, as I said. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it closer and follow the lines of my brows, and also lift up the product. Okay, so I don't want to drag it down, I want to lift it up. I want to brush stroke upwards and then across. I don't have a tip, as you know, like an ending, so that's something that I have to create myself. Yes, darling. Which can be a challenge depending on how careful my hands are that day, how steady. Oh my goodness! Are you okay? Oh my gosh, that scared Mummy. That scared Mum. I hope it's because you're happy. So I actually need to use a mirror to see what I'm doing. Can't really do this without. And I think that it would help to use a concealer underneath to fix up these brows. See, it's very heavy at the beginning. If you want to leave it like that, you can. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like certain people you know, think that you should do your makeup a certain way to make it look neater, all that sort of stuff, but everybody's different when it comes to, you know, how they want their brows to look, or how they want themselves to look. So in this case though, I am going to use this brush and just conceal underneath the brow. Just to sort of clean it up a little bit. Hopefully you saw that. If not, I'll be showing you on the other side probably. It does help obviously to have a brush that isn't too thick. But in this case, I'm going to have to reapply the powder, because I really know how people do Instagram brows. I think it's got a lot to do with using cream, but I'm not a fan of cream gel product on my eyebrows. As I've said to you guys, I have normal to dry skin, so the less I feel product wise on my face, the better. That's just me. I have used cream pomades before. Alright, so on the other side, as you know, I'm using my Profusion Cosmetics, and I'm going to use the wax again, place it on my brows to help the shape, and then I'm going to use my spoolie, brush the hairs up, makes it look a lot neater as well. And then in this case I'm going to use this shade here, which is the lighter brown. It's interesting because I went to a workshop and it was suggested or recommended that I make my brows black or really dark brown, and I know that my hair is dark mostly, but as I said, I want people to notice my eyeshadow. So that's why I don't make my brows black or dark. I want the emphasis to be on my eyeshadow, not my brows, so I don't fill them in with the darkest color I've got. Obviously, if I'm running out in that palette and, you know, I have less light brown shade and more dark brown, maybe I'll do that. But like, look, today, this for me is fine. It may not be perfect. I know I'm not perfect at my brows, but I'm getting better every day, and I know what's starting to work better for me. And looking back at photos as well is also a really great way for me to see whether or not my eyebrows are improving or I need to fix them. Do you want to come and say hello to everybody since you really need cuddles and attention? Hello. Alright, I have been using the Profusion Cosmetics eyebrow kit and the BYS eyebrow kit for a while, because just by looking at my photos after applying the product, to me it looks really good. Obviously it's better to fill in your brows than just to leave them bare. But you know, you've got to find something that works for you. Obviously I say this in a lot of videos, not everybody's skin type is the same. We can't assume that someone has got a palette that's going to work for somebody else. With my skin type, I feel that these work really well for me. In another video, I'll show you how I would use a cream gel, you know, brow product, but very rarely do I use those because it kind of feels like my brows are heavy. And obviously I don't want to have that feeling of heaviness in that area. I would rather have something quite light, and you know, having a powder is light. Probably won't last as long. Say if I was out and about and it was raining or I was going swimming, wouldn't last as long. You know, if you're comparing it to a cream gel product. But I think that brows are a learning experience, and it's okay if you are like me and for a little while you don't do your brows because you haven't really figured out what's the best way to do it. I think just test out different ways and experiment. Don't rule out anything straight away, but don't beat yourself up about it either. Like, don't get frustrated with yourself if it doesn't look good, or you feel like, you know, how is it that somebody else's brows look better than mine? You can do some research and figure out what it is that they're doing and see if that works for you. But don't feel that because their brows are better, that means that you won't have really good brows to fill in. I used to use pencils, and I can also do another video to show you how I was filling my brows in with pencil. I think that actually takes a lot longer process than using powders, and that's probably why I transferred to just using powder products for my eyebrows, because I just wanted to get ready quicker in the mornings or whenever it was I was going out. But maybe going back to the pencil, they were a little bit more precise. I had more control over filling my brows out, and then I would use powder to fill them in after the pencil. So I just, yeah, wanted to share with you my version of filling in my brows, what products I use. If you've got any other brands out there that you use and you think that they're incredible, feel free to share them, because it may not work for me, but it could work for somebody else who is reading in the comments and watching my videos. If there's anything in this video that has been really helpful, can you give this video a like and subscribe to my channel? It really does help, obviously, my channel grow, and for me to help more people be inspired by how they can better themselves. Now, I'm not giving you this information because I know everything or I do my brows better than the next person. I just wanted to share this with you because it's been my experience learning about brows, and it's fun to be able to hear from other people their advice about how they did what they did to get where they are. I know that there are a lot of posts on social media about how to do this and how to do that, and some people can get really overwhelmed or feel like they have a low self-esteem because they think, I could never do what that person does. But I'm just letting you know that everybody on social media is real, and if they're not, well, that's another story. But most of the people out there have started learning just like you, but they've had more experience and more practice, and the confidence really does help them just forget about what everybody else says about them, because it's possible that there's somebody out there who doesn't like your brows or doesn't like your makeup look, and that's their problem, not yours. So you just go ahead and you do what you're proud of, and everybody will notice that. I am really appreciative of all of you being here, and as I said, if there are products you've used to make your brows the best, then feel free to mention that in the comments, because it may help somebody out there. And be encouraging. Praise them for what they do well. Don't focus on what they don't do well. Some people out there take a long time to learn things, and it's okay. I love you guys so much. Celebrate with a mocha with me today. I love you.